The Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is brought to you by Kyle Garman Realtor. Whether you're buying or selling, whether for your forever home or that quiet desert vacation getaway, Kyle Garman and the team at Keller Williams have the experience and skill to make the process simple and convenient. Check them out today at kylegarman.kw.com. Our podcast is also brought to you by DesertDefenseLawyers.com, DUI and criminal defense throughout the Coachella Valley. The criminal justice system is scary and confusing, but relief is just a click away at DesertDefenseLawyers.com, where we've been keeping folks out of the penalty box since 2008. The Coachella Valley Firebirds are bringing the valley closer together, and the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is your weekly dose of everything Firebirds. If you have suggestions for guests or questions you'd like answered or anything you want to add, be sure to leave them in the comments. If you like what you hear, please remember to hit that like button for this episode and be sure to subscribe. So if you're ready, here we go. Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1.
Firebirds goal! Scoring his 13th goal of the playoff. The captain, number 17, Max McCormick, assisted by number 19, Cameron Hughes. Welcome to the Firebirds Fan Zone with your hosts, David and Kyle.
Wow, that's pretty good. Hey, here we go. We're back, dude.
All right.
This is just how every show starts. It just starts out of thin air like that. Mm-hmm. This is number 14, I think, because now we're counting
Something
again.
like that. Now
Something
that
like
we're
that.
counting.
I think
Wow.
14.
You're past the baker's dozen.
We are,
love
and we're getting into the
that.
sweet spot now.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We are here. We're first of all, we're at BUZZBOX with Rod Vandenbos.
Vandenbos.
Yep.
Vandenbos.
Vandenbos. And we have got so much cool stuff to talk about. But first, we start every episode the same way. My man's got to do his thing.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks again so much for supporting everything that we've been doing. Seeing you guys out the arena, we're really excited. Our last episode was amazing. Every episode's been amazing. We're starting to get to our goal of 300.
300.
Yep.
Which is a really realistic goal.
Yeah, and
I think.
we're trending the right direction.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys so much for the support and all the great feedback. So we appreciate you guys so much. Really, everything's been amazing. So thank you.
All right, here we go.
There we go.
Awesome.
Now, before we sat down to talk this morning, we took a whole tour of this insane facility.
Awesome.
So we have now like 5 hours worth of stuff to talk about.
I know.
But first, right?
Yes.
First, we want to get to know. We want everyone to know who you are and
man.
what your story is,
Yeah.
even before this amazing empire.
Well, unfortunately, too many people probably already know that, but I appreciate that. And welcome, guys. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
BuzzBox.
Yeah, thanks
Glad
for
to
having
have you
us.
here.
Yeah, it's neat. We've been doing this is our second location.
That's cool. Well, I'm honored.
This
I'm
has
honored.
been great.
Well, anytime, happy hour is a good time around here, by the way. It's,
And every hour is happy
It's a good
hour,
every
I'm
hour is
sure.
happy hour, so But yeah, absolutely. Well, we like to call this Disneyland for alcoholics. You know what I mean? But we don't say that because that's politically incorrect. But no, it's a really fun place to be, and we love being here in India.
Good.
So where are you? Where are you from originally?
Yeah, what's your story?
What's my backstory? I mean, I'll try and condense it as much as I possibly
We
can.
got time, but go ahead.
Like everyone here in the desert, I'm a transplant. Came down via the San Francisco Bay Area. Was living up in Danville. Moved down here, and actually spent most of my life in the entertainment industry. So I worked at Universal Studios, worked at Disney, film, television, and live production.
Doing
That was my
what kind of
background.
stuff?
Oh, everything from films to television shows to live events, concerts,
So
etc.
this is nothing for you. This
This is not usually where I sit, so it's kind of a different
Oh,
thing.
that's good,
But,
right?
Good deal.
But no, it's fun, and had a really fun time. Was actually brought to the desert through some folks at Eisenhower Medical Center that built the Annenberg Center.
Okay.
And if you've seen it or whatever, but the Annenberg Center was a full medical operating theater here in town, and they were building a television studio. And through some mutual acquaintances, I got connected to them and was able to come out and do some work with them, which was really exciting.
Like to film surgeries and stuff?
Yeah, well, I was involved in helping them design and build some of the stuff that was there, and then ultimately bringing in technology and internet and streaming services and all the things that we were already doing to come and help here. And of course, it didn't hurt that this is where my parents vacationed and ultimately retired.
There we go.
I think which brings most everybody here.
Yep.
And I just decided, heck, I'm going to move here before I retire so I can enjoy it a little bit. But
How long ago was that when you were doing that?
Well, that was in the 90s. I hate to say I'm that old. But,
Wow.
that was in the 90s and
we're
the
all that old.
2000s. And yeah, we're getting there, aren't we? So been here for a long time. And then I'll give a little plug to my sister. She was an anchor here at a couple of the local stations and now teaches journalism at College of the Desert.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun that we're kind of connected and be here.
Did she work with Gino?
She did. In fact, I knew Gino way back when. It was kind of fun. In fact, a lot of the folks who were there, when I would come, in fact, I would travel in and work here, and then I would travel back. And of course, I always wanted to visit with my sister, and that was their crew. That's who they all hung out with. And
That was probably fun.
Yeah.
It had to have been, especially back
And
then.
Gino still looks as young as he always did. I'm
Yeah,
just
well,
gonna
he's
throw
been
that
a guest
out
on
there,
our show.
so. Good.
And he told us his backstory and how long he's been in the desert and all
Yep.
the fun stuff and his adventures.
It's been great. So I got to live a little vicariously through those guys and coming to visit, and then called it home and have loved it and have been involved in that industry, and then got into this crazy business back about 11 years ago now, which was really kind of an outgrowth of what I was doing and very excited.
How does
about
one
it, so.
transition? I know, you and I.
Yeah. Like,
We do that. How do we transition from? I mean, it's like how does a lawyer and a real estate agent end up doing a podcast?
I was going to say, geez.
So how does an entertainer or somebody in the entertainment industry go from that world to, hey, let's create a fun adult beverage for everybody?
Right. Well, look, this is a story that I love to tell. So I mean, I'll try and keep it really
we
short.
love, we
don't
love
have to.
stories
I'll
like
try and
that,
keep
yeah.
it short, right?
That's
How
why-
many? We got what? 30 minutes? No.
We got time. We got all the time in the
long as
world.
you
No, we don't want to bore anybody, but
We don't mind.
no. Well, really, it's really a fun story. When we were, and when the teams and I were working, we did a lot of live events, did a lot of concerts. We did a lot of some of the very, very first live streaming events we produced and directed and were involved with, and loved the industry, loved what was going on. And I mean, to really make it simple, one of the things that I noticed every time I'd go to a concert or we'd go to a festival or we'd be filming a live event or a sporting event or something like that, the number one complaint or the number one comment we used to get was, you see how long the lines are at the bars?
Yes.
I mean, they're crazy. And of course, none of our events were like this, but a lot of events we did around the country and literally around the world, you always got not the best drink. Right,
Pretty subpar.
It was it was subpar. It was made with whatever mixers and whatever inexpensive alcohol happened to be available or whatever. And again, when you're making products for tens of thousands of people, right? I mean, it's pretty tough to pour top shelf stuff. So
Yes.
I get it. What really started as kind of a conversation amongst my colleagues was, God, better be a better way to do this, right? I mean, beyond sneaking it in, which we don't recommend you do, there had to have been a way that we could get a better product that was there, and so we kind of started, candidly, I kind of hate to admit this, I started calling companies, alcohol companies, and said, do you make a ready-to-drink product? And way back when, of course, we're old enough to remember this, there was really only like one or two of them. There
Remember
was
Hubelin, like those guys?
And there was remember the can?
Yep.
Remember the can?
Yeah.
There
Yep.
was like the club can.
Yep.
And then, of course, we go way back to, the old Bartles and James days,
I was
right?
just going to
And,
say that was the
you know,
first.
Yeah.
And Zima, right?
Zima.
Zima with the
Oh.
Midori in it,
That's the other
and
one.
a little
Man,
cranberry.
you're really
or whatever.
going back.
Oh, they were really bad.
Heck yeah.
But other than that, and again, those were all wine-based products, so no one really had it. And the cans were cool, but they were small and they were limited in their flavors. And then
They tasted pretty awful.
and they did.
Except for a high school student with a fake ID.
It
Yeah.
seems like when we were under 18, we really didn't care what it tasted like.
For
right?
sure.
It was
Not
just
at all.
cool.
Yep, for sure.
And then, of course, the Friday mudslide, that was the Friday's mudslide in the jug. Those were about the only things that were really available. And it was really fun. I was kind of, this was a back burner project, one of those hobbies. I thought, this would be kind of a fun thing to do someday, and how do you do that? And so I started paying attention to packaging, and I started looking at stuff, and I was canning, and I didn't really know anything about that. And unfortunately knew a lot about the industry, because when you grow up in the entertainment world, you seem to know a lot about alcohol.
It's part of the game.
Interesting that.
That golf
Interesting
is the
cover.
same way.
Golf's
You're
the
kind of
same
just
way.
around
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I know more professional beer tasters who happen to be golfers than. But
Doesn't shock me at all.
yeah, so it was really just a matter of saying, here's an opportunity that we saw, and this is kind of a fun part of the story. We used to vacation every year over in Hawaii, and I have two daughters, and they're great, and they were really young, and it was it was the exact moment was it was a party on the beach kind of thing, and we all would take turns. Somebody bring the burgers, and somebody bring the hot dogs, and somebody bring the drinks, and it just happened to be my day to get volunteered to bring the drinks. And I had 2 young girls, and they're running around, and they're trying to get organized, and I had to get the cooler. And, at that time, there wasn't a Costco, so it was like go to whatever store you could buy. And, you always want to do something fun. I'll make a Mai Tai, or I'll make something else, right? All these ingredients and all this stuff.
So
and
we're doing it at home, and then we're bringing it out to the beach.
I'd just bring all the bottles out to the beach, right? I mean, that was the only way to do it.
Full set bar.
And and I had never considered myself a wannabe bartender, but I realized and respected the trade at that point. Was literally sitting there, and this is absolutely a true story. My daughter was kind of running by, and I think she was 5 at the time, and I was like, hey, honey, settle down, get your stuff together. By the way, what do you guys want, for the barbecue? And she literally grabbed a package of, remember the Ocean Spray cranberry cocktail juice boxes, right? And she grabbed these and handed them to me. It was like, hey, Daddy, I'll have these. And I grabbed them, and before I threw them in the cooler, I looked, and it said cranberry juice cocktail. And I kind of
wasn't. I tried.
It wasn't. We tried. There is no vodka in that, by the way.
None.
And I looked at it, and I thought, wow, how cool would that be? Couldn't it be cool to have a juice box for grown-ups?
Wait, so that was the moment.
That was the light bulb moment for me.
You're in Hawaii. You're hanging out with your family, and your daughter's the inspiration.
Yes.
She says, Dad, this is what I want, and you just happen to read the label.
Absolutely.
What beach? Because there should be a plaque.
That is awesome.
On that beach.
I love that story.
I would. Yeah. No. You being an attorney, don't help my daughter file like patents. I'll be paying royalties the rest of my life. But that was really kind of that moment, and I came home after that, and it was really interesting that just through I don't want to say a freak accident, I don't mean it that way, but it was a real coincidence. I ended up doing a project with Tetra Pak, and Tetra Pak is the largest manufacturer of paper cartons in the world. What you see as BUZZBOX today, that paper is manufactured by Tetra Pak. So
that's really impressive, by the way. That's so impressive.
Yeah, it worked out. And, I went and said, hey, can we put a cocktail in a box? And they said, absolutely not. No. And
why?
For a couple of reasons. These boxes were made for milk and juice and things like that. And if you imagine this always sounds weird, but there's a food grade glue on some of these packages, right? Ethanol would melt it.
That's right.
So just like you would use a lacquer thinners to clean paint off or clean glue off. So, you'd basically be in a situation where you put the box together and it would come apart.
Yeah.
I mean,
makes sense.
And so it was interesting. I bopped around. I looked at other alternatives, and there wasn't anything. And I just was stuck on this fact that, at events, right, cans are not that good at this particular time. And in some places it's changed. Here in our arena, we have some different rules. But, if you're out on a polo ground or you're out on a park, they don't want you to have an aluminum can out there. Aluminum cans can get torn and broken, become sharp. They don't want glass. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of reasons we don't want plastic, right? So I was really stuck on this paper idea. I thought, man, if I could get this juice box concept, I thought would be really cool. And it took about 2.5 years before we actually got a prototype.
That's amazing.
Worked with Tetra Pak and their engineering team. They were absolutely fantastic.
So you were tenacious.
Yeah, I was not going to let go. I was not.
You knew you were onto something.
Well, it's one of those things where it's at the time you don't consider yourself an innovator. Do you know what I mean? I was like, you know what I'm saying, right?
Humility.
I was so frustrated. I was like, there's got to be a way to do this. There's just got to be a way to do this. Right. And I refused to take no for an answer. And, my job in all the industry I've always worked in, we were always kind of the fixers, the MacGyvers. That was our job. As you guys know in production, right? You always, you got glare on windows, you got lights.
Yeah. We were here an hour ahead of time before you even showed up.
Absolutely.
So. These things are perfect for keeping the glare of the lights on.
Exactly.
They worked out just fine.
We have some trees too, but I just didn't want to give up on that. And it took us about 2.5 to 3 years, and we got Tetra Pak to work with us and help us. They used paper that they had for some other things, and we were able to get it passed, and then we had to get it certified, and then we had the alcohol organizations, the TTB, the ABC. They didn't recognize the packaging, so we had a long road. I mean, it was. I look back on it now, and it was all fun and games now, but it was tough. It was a lot of work.
Was there ever a point during that process? I mean, you're talking a 3-year stint of I have a dream, I have an idea. I'm not going to let it go. But was there discouragement? Was there a moment where you thought, you know what, I might just, maybe this isn't worth it? Because I know that, you know, the innovators of the world, the ones who actually are, you know, living out their dreams, there's a lot of adversity that shows up. And over a 3-year stint, did you run into that? Where you're like, I don't know if this is worth it?
I'd like to say no, but absolutely. I mean, the life of, you know, and I don't know if you ever really call yourself an entrepreneur. Do you know? I mean, I think that's a statement that.
That's what other people call you.
Yeah, I think you either earn it or you have to be accused of it. You know, but yeah, listen, I would be lying if I didn't say there were times I woke up like literally every day, you know, just going, oh, this is not worth it. Keep your day job, you know. And especially when it started costing money, you know, and you start realizing it. And I think one of the biggest things, and I say this, I get a chance to speak to groups of young entrepreneurs every once in a while, and I always tell them, I go, look, just when you're ready to quit is when your biggest potential breakthrough can happen.
I hear that all the time.
And don't quit, right? And you know, gosh, I felt this way yesterday. I mean, you literally, it's something. It really never ends. It's something that you have to commit to, and you have to go. There's always, as you guys know, there's always a challenge. Whether, you know, our hockey players, it's, you know, you lose a game, that doesn't mean you quit playing. You know,
yeah, for sure. That's a great point.
You know, I mean, seeing as we're talking Firebirds, I mean,
yeah, and we will,
we'll get
that. That's the point. You have to keep going, and you know, again, there's moments when, you know, I always tell people it's tough when you run a business like this. I mean, there's days when you're like, okay, which Visa card do I put payroll on, you know, and that kind of stuff. And what's really interesting, and I have to say, we live in a great valley, and I have been very fortunate to have some great friends here that have been super supportive. I mean, that have come alongside and have said, hey, what do you need? How can we help? I mean, they've brought pizza in at midnight when we're still working, and they've just been really super supportive. But, you know, it's interesting because, you know, those first years, you know, I think people a lot of times go, this may not make it, you know, so we'll be nice to Rod and, hey, way to go, you know, but, you know, who knows where this is going to go, right? But you just got to slug through. You just, if you believe it, and this is one of those things where, honestly, if you'd asked me 15 years ago, do you see yourself in a situation? I said, not a chance. I mean, I don't, you know, it's not my industry.
Not to this degree.
Not to this degree. And here we are, you know, at the point where there's kind of no return now. I mean, we're kind of committed.
Well, you're
definitely,
in.
We're definitely in.
Yeah, you're in the Audubon lane right now.
Yeah,
and
you
went from right lane to middle lane to
you know, and it was a heck of a ride, and you know, along the way, met some incredible people, learned some incredibly valuable lessons. I mean, I think one of the things I was listening to a couple of TED Talks recently about entrepreneurs that had made their way through, and you know, you don't really think of yourself being in that same way, but it was so interesting to hear these people that have been successful and to go, man, I know what that felt like. Yeah, I did that. You did that too, you know? So it's encouraging to hear that from other people. But
it just doesn't feel like it when you're doing it.
No.
You feel so alone in that moment, right?
Exactly. You just feel like, oh gosh.
You feel like a big failure a little bit. You're like, this should be easier.
You know, you really do. And I think that the toughest transition for me, and give you a little inside scoop, was, you know, I came out of an environment where I was known. I had history. I had a job. I had credentials.
People knew you.
I had business cards.
Yeah,
you
right,
know.
Yeah.
And you know, you walk out of something where you have some respect, and you know, you talk about, you know, the 10,000 hours concept. You know, you got to put in your 10,000 hours, right? I had done that. And I don't want to say it was easy, but I'd kind of earned my way, you know, and you had a little bit of self-security in that. You felt good about it. And to literally jump out and be outside your support system, be outside of a bigger company, be outside of all these things where you recognize that if I take a sick day, I don't get paid. You know, if I want to take a vacation, I don't have vacation pay. You know, it's like, and if I'm not there, it doesn't happen. So, you know, and again, early days. Now we have a team that's absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
But
you've earned the right to get to that point.
Yeah, but those are things. So, you know, but fast forward, you look, all those things are. In fact, we joke. Some of my team that's here, and I really feel, honestly, I feel proud to be on the team. They're people I say, well, it's great, and I'll get introduced as you're the founder. And I feel like, you know, that might have been a role or a title I have, but there's so many people who have been a part of this along the way. And, you know, some of our team literally were here from almost day one with me.
I was just going to ask how many people.
Yeah.
So they took the same chance you did.
Oh
right?
yeah,
They must have believed in what you were
They
doing.
were crazy. I would tell you, they were
You got
crazy.
to you got to be a little different to do stuff
You
like
do.
this. You
You
can't,
do.
obviously to step out and do what you were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
I think,
normal.
and I think for us, and as much as we can share or take whatever credit for sticking to it, I think it all comes down to we still believed we had a great idea and we had a passion for that and we wanted to do that. And so no matter what, it was so funny. I met with people in the industry. I met with distributors. I met with senior executive teams in alcohol companies were like, Rod, don't waste your time. It's not going to happen. This won't work. You can't do this.
Why were they I mean,
well,
like traditionally,
Yeah.
right? I guess traditionally it just wasn't a thing.
Well, we know what's interesting, and again, coming back to listening to other people. I mean, I was watching something the other day when I won't name this particular singer entertainer, but they was interesting. They were talking.
Was it Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah, it was.
Just
No,
saying.
really?
That's
no,
no, that's
Just
my
saying.
favorite.
no, but actually,
That's
I've actually heard this from Kelly. It's like she would go to auditions and people would be like, "Duh,
Yeah.
you could be a bank teller. Don't waste your time."
They all someone's. No one ever has full support for
No,
everything they do,
no.
until they
Yeah.
get married.
Yeah.
They got a wife like mine, and then they get support for everything. But,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But, so I think that those are the encouraging things. And that's what's really encouraging, that you got to listen to the people around you that have made it and have said, hey, keep going. And I'm like, hey, we're still going. We haven't made it yet. We're still on the way. But that's kind of how we saw an opportunity. We had an idea, and it was interesting. It was kind of like a wildfire, because I remember when I first had this concept, I came back, and of course we hit a bunch of roadblocks and you couldn't get it done and it wasn't possible. And I was with a very, very good friend of mine, and we happened to be sitting in a restaurant, and I was like, hey, I got to outline this idea that I'm thinking of. And I pulled out a napkin and a pen and outlined it. And I was talking through it, and I didn't realize it at the time. And he's told me this many. He says, I sat and listened to you. And he said, I had no idea what you were talking about. I have no interest in this industry. I don't know any connection. He said, but you lined this whole thing out of what you thought it would be. And you looked at me and you said, what do you think? And this is the truth. He looked at me and he said, what are you waiting for? And I guess what he recognized in me is he saw that I believed in it myself. And what he said was, listen, it didn't really matter what you were going to do. If you didn't believe in it, right?
That's right.
Don't waste your time.
That's absolutely right.
And so that was really kind of the kickstart that I got to just go do it. And man, it's been the way. I mean, I still believe in it. I still come to work every day. I still do everything every day, and I still am kind of blown away by, wow. And I really mean this. I walk through the door here as you guys walk through the door today, and we got a nice, great big facility and stuff.
Beautiful.
And I walk on this, and I still walk in, guys, and I still get tingles and go, I can't believe we're here. Like how did this happen? You know what I
that
mean?
feeling.
And that's the coolness. You have to have passion for it. You have to have belief in it, but you still have to have that wonder every day, right? That's what keeps the vision alive.
Just the way you're telling the story
So-
now, clearly the passion has not eroded in any way.
I hope not. We still have and listen, we feel like we're just getting started. And going through building our company, and then as we all talked about, you hit all this crazy stuff that happened in our world where all the live shows stopped.
Yeah.
And here we are, that we built a product that it's funny. Right, literally 2019. As we were coming together, and as I was working with our group to put together, some investment and some financing and all the things we had to do to build our facility and make all this stuff happen. And we were so excited. And we had like racing organizations that were committing to buying our product. We had sports teams and franchises. We had arenas. I mean, we were on a fast track. We had this amazing commitment.
So to touch on that a little bit and shed some light for these guys here, because like myself and Dave included, we just assumed, BuzzBox was a product that just came out of Indio. You guys just showed up out of nowhere, and it was for the Firebirds, and maybe somebody had kind of heard about it online.
Remember early in the years ago, the Facebook, I would see ads for this online order cocktail thing. I'm like, and then I saw your sign drive by, and I went, wait a minute.
But that's not true. You guys actually were tell us what you were doing.
We were out. So our first real, and I'll probably get corrected on the dates, but our first real product lines that we really went out to the market were started in about 2014, 2015.
So it's a while
so
ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
And we were making, and the boxes were real similar. They were a little smaller. We had straws, which was along the juice box.
Yep,
The
juice box
box
style.
idea.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and we were mostly targeting live events.
Okay.
So we were going after specific concerts or specific festivals or specific arenas or racing or those types of things. And we would go and work with the promoters, we work with the venues, and say, hey, this is a great thing to put in your bar, speed up the process. I mean, again, the reason we created the product was you get a better quality, and we can talk about that, but speed of process, right? I mean, you can move product fast this way. The quality is always the same. It's consistent, right? Yep. And we do. We spend a lot. We'll talk about it later. We talk a little bit, but and also for the venues, the big thing I was able to say, hey, your inventory. When this is nothing, not because I have some of my favorite people in this town are the bartenders, but. When you
Mine
work,
too.
I've heard that. Dude.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He knows them by
at
name.
meetings?
Yeah, I was
He
like,
knows them by name at BUZZBOX
I love
Arena.
that.
By
Oh,
the
yeah,
way,
for sure.
he can name them off.
They are some great people over there.
Oh,
so.
yeah, you got some good
But
folks.
one of the things that I've always said is even to the venues, you bring a whole bunch of bottles and a whole bunch of mixers and you sell the drinks. Well, at the end of the night, how many did you sell? Do you really know? And not to suggest that there's anything nefarious going on, but
However.
you don't know. And did something get lost? Did something get spilled? Did a bottle get broken? And how do you track that? And usually they're so busy, you don't have time to deal with that, right? Where with a product like this, they're single serve. So if I brought 1,000 down to the bar and there was 100 left, we better have receipts for 900, right?
Yeah.
It's good math.
So it was.
I was told there was no math on this exam.
Well, that's why I kept it in tens.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I kept it in tens. We do make alcohol.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
not.
it's true.
We're not teaching anything right here. But that was really, there was a whole bunch of really great benefits that we thought of that, and we were going out after that. And then of course, we started this facility. A lot of the local friends of mine, we literally moved into this facility at the end of 2019, and it took us a year longer after to build it, but we actually put up our temporary offices in here and got in here, and we started the process of building this. And I'll never forget, because we closed on a major funding source for us February the 27th. I'll never forget this, of 2020. And on March the 12th, 2020, they announced, oh, by the way, we're shutting everything down and there's not going to be anything going on. And we just sort of went, well, there goes our business.
Collective gasp.
Oh,
no,
man.
we're out of business.
But you shifted, right? You're like, well, we can't
We
do it
did.
here. Let's do it here.
Exactly. And what was really cool is the facility took about a year to build, so we had a lot of work to do. But we had product out there. And we just went after retail. We said, let's find other avenues for this. For all the people that are staying home and can't go out, let's get product to you at your house.
Did you ever have any customers or events or venues or stores say, nah, this is never going to work. We don't want to sell you here.
Oh, all the time. All the time. It's really interesting, and I literally, we could go on and I won't, but there's some really fun stories. Like for instance, we're really happy this year we got onto 2 new airlines. So we're on Spirit and Frontier.
Oh, really?
The 2 airlines you need the drinks the most.
Oh,
on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
All right, everybody,
Listen,
here's your
we're-
complimentary cocktail.
Listen, we want to make the skies friendly again in a completely different way,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But it was interesting because it was one of those things where people always look at the box and they go, yeah, this would be perfect here, this would be perfect there, right? And we always thought airlines. I mean, how perfect is this? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's such an easy thing,
for
right?
Sure.
It's paper, it's lighter, and I get this, and this is when I can share this on this. I hear people all the time talk about sustainability, right? And then their actions don't really follow through. They got nice marketing campaigns, but they don't really change anything, right? And I always said, I mean, our packaging is 100% plant-based, right? Even our caps are made of sugar cane, right?
I saw that earlier. That's great. It
incredible.
looks
So-
like plastic, feels like plastic.
But it's not. And so we were like always pitching these guys, if you want to make a sustainability statement, here's where it is. And we got shut down No. And I think because we were a small brand. I mean, I didn't take it personally.
Really?
Hey, we were a small brand. We didn't have the distribution. I mean, there was a whole bunch of realistic reasons why. But we were always kind of disappointed, thinking, well, somebody's got to take a chance on it. And it was interesting because this time around, now they were coming to us saying, hey, your product would be great on the airlines. And you wanted to say, I've been saying this for years.
How good does that feel when,
right?
when that moment happens?
Oh, man, fantastic.
Right?
It was fantastic. I have to say that it's just been a couple months on with the new ones for Spirit and Frontier. And it was really fun. It was a couple weeks ago. I was just kind of zipping through social media, right? And someone posted that I just hashtagged BUZZBOX. And they were on a flight somewhere in the Midwest, and they filmed this, one of our margaritas with like a box of chips, and then out the window and then back, and then was like, and their captions were, best margarita I've had in the skies. And
I love
and I was
that.
like,
I love that.
I was like, wow, how cool is that, right? Because again, that was what we wanted to do. So when you see that come back,
Well, yeah,
to
you went from a napkin.
To
somebody
exactly
posting that, and
Yep.
you're fulfilled at that point.
Yep.
You got to be like, wow, you've come full circle. You've done it.
Yeah, it was it was one of those moments where you sort of go, wow, that's pretty cool,
Wait a minute. And
That surreal
do,
moment.
do you like? I know I did. I don't remember doing it anymore though.
Yeah.
Somehow I just now I know where I am, but I don't remember getting here.
I think that's what it is, right?
It's true. It's funny. I don't know. I should make reference, but you guys remember that movie? I think it was called That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Great movie.
Yep.
That was a great movie.
And do you remember when the bass player, I can't remember his name of the actor, turned around and he looked at
How did we get here?
How did we get here? And I'll tell you what, I ask that question a lot. You sit back and you go, wow. And especially when you're sitting at the rink watching a Firebirds game and your logo rolls across the top. That's pretty fun,
Okay, great. What a great
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah.
Because,
Let's go.
how did that relationship, pan out for you, and how did that work out? I mean, to me, I can't imagine. I mean, here we are. You've got the logo.
Yeah.
It all seems to make sense, and since day one. And I remember seeing the banner because we live in this area.
Absolutely.
So we drive by here all the time, getting on the freeway, and I saw, we know the Firebirds are coming, and BUZZBOX. Okay, that's kind of cool, and they've got the logo. So it just made sense to me, but how did you guys end up with that?
I'm glad you felt that way. No, absolutely. We were, it was really kind of a bringing together of I'd known some of the principals in the organization prior to in a former career life, and we had some local folks. And when if you guys remember back when the arena was first starting about being here, was going to be in Palm Springs, and I've been fortunate enough to, help out with a few nonprofit organizations that were in and around this thing. So I was aware of what was going on. And when they made the announcement they were going to bring it down to Palm Desert, it was just recent. Yeah. Well, it was actually really before that. And I had an opportunity to meet with some of the executive team. And, and I'll give him a shout out, specifically Tim Lewicki, Tim, way to go.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
You've changed the Valley.
Yeah, you did.
And I had an opportunity, and I was able to get him here with the team for a tour. Nice. And I have to say, and I'll say this just in case he's ever listening, but people always say nice things about successful people, right? It's like because we want them to like them.
Sure.
I have to tell you, Tim was one of those really true, genuine guys, because when he showed up with his team and he was genuinely interested, and he really wanted to hear our story, and which made me feel super special. I was like, hey, this is really cool. And we had met in different environments, but this is really the first time. And, Tim walked through here with just intrigue, and he wanted to know what we were doing. And it took him about 2.5 seconds to get it. He saw saw the sustainability.
When we saw, you took us on the tour.
Yep.
I mean, I was impressed immediately. And I could see how excited you get when you start talking about how the process.
I felt like Charlie Bucket walking back into Willy Wonka's factory. I'm like, whoa,
what a great reference! Yeah,
I got to buy one of those hats. Actually,
you are, and I could see that it's very infectious. So,
well, thank you. I can't help it because really you can't manufacture this. You know what I mean? You either love what you do or you don't, right?
Sure, for sure.
And literally, Tim saw this immediately and had said, we're going to be putting together, sponsors in the arena. We're going to have people here, and you guys should be there, And my first thought was, Absolutely. And then, how much is it going to cost? It was like, we're not a big company. We're not those guys yet, And I have to tell you, they were just absolutely fantastic to us, and really took us by the hand and said, let's show you how to do this. Let's help you do this.
We got you.
And so I'm very proud of the fact that we were, I think, technically the first sponsor to sign on to the Firebirds.
I think so, and that's why it resonated with me. I remember it so well because I remember just BUZZBOX and Firebirds. And that's not even the 29.
No.
Sorry, 29.
But and guys, great friends of ours too.
Yeah, they're
so.
awesome. They're great. Yeah. I just didn't. Yeah, you were like the first.
So we, and actually the reason we have the banner up here, we actually made one of the very first announcements for the arena right here in our loading dock. We put them. The media was here, and it was fun. And I have to tell you, they just came alongside us like a big brother, and that was so encouraging and so refreshing. And hey, we said, look, you got our full attention, and what we've come to now again. Well, how did we get here moments, but we had the opportunity to build the BUZZBOX bar in the arena, which we're super proud of.
You did.
It was fun, and to have our product. And again, Oakview and their teams, their vision was really a new vision for arenas. And having grab and go and some self-serve and keep the lines. And,
really amazing. Yeah.
And and I'll tell you, and I don't think there's any secrets here, but I mean, I've heard the comments that, their arenas sell more per head just because of the convenience.
Absolutely.
Probably.
I would say
I mean, think about it. We walk outside, right? You can grab something to eat, something to drink, you're back in your seat in minutes.
Yeah, you're not waiting in those long lines.
There's definitely not
spectacular.
a lot of long lines anywhere.
Right.
No.
When people ask me about Acrisure,
right.
The only way I can describe it is to say, take all the best things from the new giant arenas, condense it into a family size, a family size one.
Yep.
And it's there's not a bad seat in the house.
That's true.
Everything is within. No matter where you are, what is within reach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the staff is friendly as can be, and let me just tell you, BUZZBOX is now it's like our clubhouse. Everyone knows on game day or event day, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We're at that's where you're going to find. I know there's other bars, and I'm sure they're all great, but BUZZBOX is my house, right? That's where you're going to find me.
Well, and we're a local house too, so that's really cool. But absolutely, and we have some fun things coming, by the way, this year. You're going to see some new updates and some things coming. We're really excited about.
Good.
But and that really brought us back into the live event space again. This last year was fabulous, and now we're branching out. We're involved. We're getting into other venues again. We're getting other concerts, festivals. We're currently really active in 16 or 17 states. We cover about 34 and growing and adding, and we're just so excited about that. But coming home, and as I shared with you guys, the Valley is. I mean, we're this unique, tucked away, special little place, right?
Yeah, we really are.
And for us as a company, it's actually a small market. When you think of Los Angeles or San Diego or Dallas or Miami, I mean, those are huge cities. But obviously, this is home, right? Yeah. And one of the greatest things about the Valley that I have said for years is, even though we're a smaller market, we play like a larger market because of
we're
tourism.
A giant small market.
We
right?
really are,
yeah.
and there's so much influence from people coming in from other parts of the country. That really gives us exposure. That and I won't name any cities, don't get anybody mad. But if you were in a smaller city in another state, there's a lot of towns that are similar size to us, but they don't get the influx of people that we do.
No,
they don't get the events. And when you think of the concerts we have here, the golf tournaments, the sporting tournaments, and now the arena, which is spectacular, we bring people in from all over. So for us as a company, the investment being here, and people say, well, man, you're a local brand, how do you make this happen? Well, we really gauge this on what we're able to affect even beyond here, right? And we have people talk. I had an opportunity to meet some people yesterday that were from the Northwest that were like, oh my God, we love BUZZBOX, and we saw it at the arena. We went home, we bought it in our grocery store and our liquor store, and it was like
so they're up
so
in Washington.
Cool.
You guys
Washington and Oregon.
Awesome. Those are my hometowns.
So are they really?
Yes.
Oh,
that's
good
awesome.
place to be. So
it is
it's great to be here this time of the year, though.
Yes, that's why it was part of the puzzle piece of the whole picture why I decided to get out of there.
Absolutely.
I love the Northwest.
Yeah.
Do you have people now? Like, you have your sales team. I'm sure goes out trying to get placed, but I would imagine your phone is ringing now with people saying, "Hey, we want you in our restaurant, our store."
I'll tell you what.
Whatever.
Yeah. that's been really fulfilling, is to see that kind of start to pick up a life of its own, right? And we still work through distributors because we're alcohol. We have to work through a distributor, and we know we're working on chains. We've got some really great chain announcements coming up. We're really excited about.
Great.
And organizations like Whole Foods and Ralph's and have really embraced us, and Total Wine and other stores across the country. And yeah, it's fun now to see other stores coming and saying, "Hey, we would love your product." And you still have to go work it. You still have to get out there. And this is interesting. And even though, and not to overdo this, but we knew we had a great product, right? We've won 40, 50 awards for our product. It's all natural. We use no preservatives. It's all fresh juices, top shelf spirits. And then on top of that, the packaging that no one else has our packaging.
That was impressive, yeah.
And we've kind of coined, we're the most eco-friendly cocktail that's out there. And we really, we are. And so now we have this incredible story to tell, and we have all the reasons why we think we should be included everywhere. But somebody still has to like it. Somebody still has to believe it. And we've just been so grateful that some of these larger organizations have said, yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to see it continue, and not only just the first sale, but to see it continue and see it grow and grow and grow. And fun little story, we had a call from a beer distributor up in Boston and College Town, and they had said, hey, we heard about your product, and we were able to trace it back. Someone there was actually here at Acrisure, which was great. And
they get them from all over. Like
they had seen it, then they saw it, and they got it in a grocery store, and we're like, hey, we don't have your product here in Massachusetts. We said, no, we're not. We'd love to talk. Long story short, a couple months later, and I am proud to announce, and I'm sure that all the Bostonians are too, but
Boston,
they are rocking it. I mean, they have been one of our fastest growing markets in the country. It's been absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. And I got to go see the original Cheers bar, so that was kind of fun.
The Bull and Finch,
yeah. So it was kind of fun.
Turned out I went there, nobody knew my name. Not one person knew my name when I walked in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So is it safe to say, like, then Acrisure, I mean, you were already established up to that point. You guys already got some traction, but do you think Acrisure getting this product in front of that many people at that arena,
no question,
with the Firebirds, then now takes you to the next level?
No question. And I don't want, I don't mind sounding like a commercial for them, but it really has. It has been. There's a lot of brands that are hard to promote in that venue. I mean, I always joke, if you sell a specific product, sometimes that specific product, that may not be the best environment. But for us, it gave us the ability to showcase what our product can do. It was made for that environment. The fact that you can go up and bring 3 or 4 down to your buddies, and still get some food, and then at the end of the day, it's recyclable, and it's all those wonderful things. So yeah, it's been a fantastic testimony. And believe you me, we bring in buyers and we bring in folks from all over the country all the time and say, come see how it works here. And look, it doesn't hurt that we have probably the best AHL small family style venue in the country,
and the best fan base.
And that is the truth.
Without a doubt.
That is the truth. That is the truth. Who'd have thought we'd have put hockey in the desert, right?
That's been the conversation.
Oakview Group did.
They did.
The Lightwickies did. They knew it, man.
Yeah, they did.
When nobody else did, they knew it.
The conversation that we've had repeatedly with folks in the chair is everybody was hoping that, they had a blueprint. They had an idea. Everybody had a thought, much like you did with your product. It's, I have an idea. We're passionate about this thing. Okay, the marketing's going to be this. Here's the logo. Here's going to be, the team, and we're going to get some local vendors in here. But they didn't really realize what they had, and nobody did, obviously. And that's the big shock. Like, I'm sure you couldn't.
It was either going to catch or it wasn't.
Yeah. And did.
Listen, I can speak to that because I remember when they talked about it, and obviously, not being from here, you recognize the power that an arena like this can have for a brand. I mean, it's fabulous, right? But yeah, we really didn't know. I mean, and again, I say this is that we've got, we have great golf events, we have great tennis events, we got great concerts, but each of them has their niche of who they are. And when you form an arena, and especially a hockey team, you've got to get the local buy-in. Yeah. Because, you're always going to have visitors here, but you can't have visitors every night. Right. And to see really how our local environment has embraced it and gotten behind it, and I love it. I know we see each other there at the games. I love going down there because I feel like it's kind of like a class reunion every time there's a hockey game, right? We get to see all of our friends. We get to see everybody, it has been such a great thing. And in fact, when last season ended, which we went, wow, we had a lot of extra games. But when the season ended, it was kind of funny. I ran into a few of the folks that sat near our seats or whatever, and they were like, what have you been doing? Like
Yes.
what do you guys do on Wednesday nights or Friday nights or Saturday nights? And I'm like, it's. I literally sit at home and go, I wish there was a hockey game.
Right?
For
sure.
We've done that. Dave and I
So,
didn't know each other until
That's really
December,
cool.
till December 18th.
Let's, you know what? So you brought it up. Let's go there, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a sponsor, sure, and I'll have this on my name and I'll pay and whatever. But the reality of it didn't really hit till December 18th when it was opening night
Absolutely.
for our team. I'm sure you were there.
Oh, yeah.
We ask everybody the same question. Yeah. What expectations or what did you think was going to happen, and then what was the experience for you when it did?
Well, I'm gonna say something here, and I'm not bad talking the other teams, but I got to give a little plug for our guys.
Right.
Okay, I had the opportunity to go to some of our away games prior to us opening the
Oh
deal.
yeah, no.
And of course, we
Dig
traveled
in,
out.
man. Just
We
dig in.
want to do it.
Get 'em.
And I have to tell you, man, some of these facilities were not great. Okay, I mean, some of them were just downright bad, right? I mean,
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that at opening day, and of course being here, and we were involved obviously in the process and going to the building and just seeing this thing come together, and to be there opening night, right? It was unbelievable. And the comment that I made, and I heard from so many people, was, this isn't AHL, this is NHL, right?
Yep.
This is the big leagues. We're big time here, and it was, obviously we all can't say enough about the team and what they did and the entire group of guys and gals that were there that made this thing come together. But I mean, wow. And that opening night, it was something special. It was electric. And to see that place
That's one
full,
word everyone uses.
Yeah.
Electric.
And I know you guys were there, but I mean, come on, the playoffs last year.
Oh baby.
I mean, oh my gosh, right? It was like, and it was. This was really interesting because we've all got schedules. We're all busy, and to go, sometimes 3-4 nights a week to do something pretty.
There were some hard days.
There
were some hard next days for sure.
I'm like, wow. It's like and it was so interesting because there was definitely that FOMO moment, right? It was like, I can't miss a game. I don't want to miss anything. What's going to happen next? And it was such a great story for the Valley. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, to run that right up, man, literally, to be a brand new team, to get to second place, and to lose to one of the longest history teams in the league.
What a great story that
was.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Cinderella story, man.
Right.
I mean, this
newest
is
team, oldest team.
Yeah, it was fabulous. And
Game
we just did the Firebirds, the invitational golf event,
Yeah.
and I had a chance to talk to a couple of the guys, and the comment was, it's pretty tough to live up to last year,
Oh, it is.
But I'll tell you what a way to set the bar,
Sure.
set the enthusiasm. I think our guys have got it. They really do, and it's just a matter of you get that new team, you got to come together. No matter what you do, you got to get to know each other, and. I mean, wow! When you look at the potential of what we've got, I'm an optimist, but I don't think you have to be one to see the potential we have.
No,
I think we're gonna have a good year. I think we're gonna have a great year.
Oh, absolutely.
And don't despair that the road record is insane. The home record's not so great. Grant Fuhr was on, and he said, "Hey guys, don't even trip. This is how it goes.
Yep.
These guys are going to be just fine." And I believe him.
Exactly.
He says it. I believe it.
Yeah, and we talked to Matt. So Tennyson just was our last guest. We were at the Classic Club, having that conversation. Same thing. I mean, he reflected on last season. There's a bit of a tighter bond because they didn't have home ice. They were traveling a lot. They were in Seattle, living out of hotels. But this is kind of how it goes.
Right.
And this time last year, it was about the same.
Right.
We
against Coach Dan's, advice, what I say to the guys, they should get together. They should have some BUZZBOXes, spend some time together in the evening,
so
right?
smart.
Just
There
that
you go.
bonding experience, it'd be,
That's the
it
missing
helps,
ingredient.
right?
They go
It
to-
helps. And then the day of,
sleepover.
and then the day of the game, make sure we get lots of BUZZBOXes in the other team's room, locker room.
Great idea.
That's
And,
you
and
know.
encourage
should be part
them
of the-
to celebrate, have some drinks.
Do you have
I mean,
any
that'd
just
be great.
plain,
Yeah.
like with this water on it?
Yeah.
Just let them,
Right.
let them start pounding before they realize what it is.
No kidding.
Oh,
so
but
how
no.
much of a hockey fan were you before the Firebirds? Were you following hockey?
Yeah, it was funny. I was actually born up in the Northwest, and I was born in Vancouver. in
okay.
Vancouver, British Columbia, actually.
You can tell by the way it says organization.
Yeah, it's a little dictation there,
So
right?
I'm from Bellingham.
Are you really?
So you know where?
Oh,
you know where I'm from.
I do. We used to water ski at Lake Whatcom.
Well, I used to go at 19. Lake You're on Lake Whatcom.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lake
God,
Whatcom and Samish, and
that's where I grew up. I would dump my jet skis in there all the time.
Exactly. Yeah,
But yeah, I used to go up to Vancouver because you only had to be 19.
You only be 19 to drink that
to
really
hang
high
out.
alcohol content
I just
beer.
hung out.
4 or
I wanted
5
the
or
international
whatever.
experience.
It was. No, it was great.
Hilarious.
But moved down here obviously when I was young, and been around hockey. I never played really any organized hockey. Back then, we always joke if you were born up there, the first thing you got was a pair of skates. But we played as kids. We played on the frozen fields, and we played. And actually this was interesting. I remember for my middle school and on into junior high, our physical ed periods, right? We would either go play hockey or we'd go skiing because we were that close to the mountains.
That's right.
And that was literally a legit thing. I mean, it would be like Wednesday afternoon. They moved all of our PE classes to the afternoon, and at 1 o'clock or noon, we'd get on a bus. They'd take us out to either the ski hill or to the rink. We'd play hockey or we'd ski for an hour and then bring you to school.
So you didn't run around a sweaty trap.
Right.
Dude, fun fact. So I did that 1 year. It's hilarious because you just made me go backwards.
Yep.
I was in middle school. And I was living in Oregon at the time, in Bend.
Yep. Oh, yeah, okay.
Actually, and so for these outings, that's how I learned how to ski. They literally, for like 2 weeks, we went out. I learned how to cross-country ski. I learned how to down. It was part of the school activity. We're going to get on a bus, and this is what we're going to do. And I was a city kid at the time. I had no idea what was happening. So that's how I learned.
Well, I figured we had to survive somehow.
Listen,
right?
I
did.
got news for you. There's a lot of people who would say Bend, Oregon doesn't really make you a city kid.
No. I
No,
mean,
I was
that's not
gonna
where
say,
I was from. I was actually. I went
okay.
from Portland. I was living in Portland.
That's city.
And then we went to Lapine. So
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar.
I know where Lapine is, yeah.
This is back in the 90s.
Yes.
So this
That's
was,
very few people knew then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the smallest little town in the world.
Been there, taught there.
You did not.
At the fire department, yep.
In Lapine, Oregon.
Yep.
Nobody ever
all the
knows where
stuff
that
you learned,
is. That
all the
is.
stuff you
We just
learned.
learned something today on the show.
Yeah, see?
That's crazy. Yeah. So I was there for a year. I was there a whole year. And then
Not much going on there.
We would go to the sisters and go
Yep,
skiing. and then-
absolutely.
You go to
It's really
Sister
cool.
Saloon, and you ever been there?
I was 12.
It was 12.
They have a
Well,
kids,
so-
they have a kids menu.
No, dude, I did not. No, and then we came back down. But no, that's
right.
hilarious that you mentioned that because you're
but-
right.
Yeah, it was part of it. So I mean, been around hockey all my life,
Okay.
and loved it, and of course lived in LA for a long time, and traveled, and I was in Florida for a while, and so but always have been around hockey. Always had my favorite fans. There was always there was always the Bobby Orr we'd look up to, or the Wayne Gretzky, or whatever the superstar was, and loved it, and I have I say this about my daughters. I have 2 daughters that are here. One's in her first year of college. One's still finishing up high school, and
cool.
it was interesting because I don't think they'd ever been to a hockey game before the Firebirds. And, I've gone in a couple times to see the Kings or to see the Ducks, but I don't think I really drug them out anywhere. And so the first game, and I'll never forget, they were sort of like, "Oh, Dad, hockey, how boring is that?" Right? And it was funny.
Until-
Oh, absolutely. Oh, like I barely get my season tickets now. I mean, it's like my daughter's like, I got those first, right? And they are probably, actually between you at one end and my daughter at the other end, I think you guys keep the whole thing going. It's just, it's
what
so
section,
fun.
What section are you in?
We're down in 110.
Yeah, so you're not far.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
right around the horn.
Right around the horn. Yeah, we're kind of like just kitty corners. So
Yeah.
we flank the BUZZBOX bar.
Beautiful.
So, but no, what a great thing to have here in the desert. And although a plug, I think they should have like a summer hockey league team.
Interesting.
Because when it's 110, wouldn't it be cool to go hang out in the ice?
Yes.
Of course,
Well,
we
you
can do that at the Burger
the Burger
Foundation.
Center, yeah.
The Burger Center is great to do
Yeah.
that, but it would be fun to do.
But you're
that.
right, to have something to watch and just sit in there, the arena. And just,
I think we all got it bad. I think we all got bit by the bug.
I
for
did.
sure.
Yeah, I was one of those who, and Dave played. So Dave played a lot of beer.
Air quotes played.
Well, you did, man.
right.
I like throwing that at you every time because you do that. You always deflect. But you did play, so I didn't. I never got a chance to.
Well, we can get you out there. You can skate. Let's go.
We got to try it one time.
We should go to the Burger Center, put some skates on, and
I think
make
so.
that part of a show.
Well, one of the things I've always said, and I'll throw this out there if any other sponsors are watching, I think the sponsors need to each have a team, right? I think we all need to partner up, and that would be like a fun, maybe that's our summer league fun time, and I'll throw the challenge out. Hey, Milagro, Garrison, Silvercrest. Come on, guys.
Silvercrest, calling
Let's get
you
some
out right
teams.
now,
Let's get
Billy.
some
Oh,
teams
boy.
together. And
like
of course, Raj from El Paseo Jewelers. I want to see him on skates. I think he would be
let's go.
awesome.
Can I be a draft pick?
You can be there.
I gotta.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta freshen up.
Listen.
Yeah.
We're gonna be looking for ringers. So I'll tell you.
Oh, I'm
what.
not a ringer.
I told Grant
Yeah.
I wanted to put the pads on and get in between the pipes and see what that was like. So
Yeah.
maybe, but I do feel like I'd be more of a forward, maybe defenseman.
Oh, well, we'll find
see.
out.
We'll find out. We'll see.
Let's
where
go.
we're at.
Let's go skate next week.
It's not a bad idea.
It'd be really fun.
It really would be. It's not a horrible idea.
Well, maybe we can do that, and here be fun, and let's do a podcast in the future. We'll get together all the sponsors, a little rivalry. We'll get a little betting going. See
We're
who
doing it.
take each
Yeah.
other on.
All right, so
I
he's
love
throwing
that
it out
idea.
there. The challenge is
we
set.
gotta figure out how to get everybody.
I throw the
mic'd up.
gauntlet out there.
We'll get it.
We'll get everybody mic'd up and just
We'll
and
get
do it.
We'll get Tenny to
Okay.
come out with us, and he can interview. Tenny
Yes.
talks. He can interview a lot of as we're doing.
He
some
can
things.
skate around with the mic. Yeah, that's
Oh
what he
yeah.
can do.
Well, the rest
Yeah.
of us are like laying on the ice
Sure,
trying to
for
pick
sure. No,
ourselves
there's
up.
no
So,
joke.
it'd be
We've
fun.
got the concept. This is easy.
I love it. Let's do it.
We're gonna
Let's
make it
do
happen.
Let's
Love
do
that.
it.
That's, well,
I'll supply the drinks. How's that?
I love that.
A lot of
even
people
more.
are going to need it
Yeah.
afterwards.
You might need a few
I
more
know,
before
Uber
too.
might
You
need
never know.
to co-sponsor, but that's all right. So we mentioned when we started, we took a tour of your facility.
Yes.
And it was
Incredible.
not what I didn't know what to
yeah.
expect, but it's the freaking Starship Enterprise.
It's beautiful.
Back there.
Oh, thank you guys.
So can you just walk us through? Because I'm going to tell you what I remember. There's technology everywhere, but
Right.
what I took away was you make your own spirits. Your fruit that you use in all your fruit is not only fresh, but it's like less than 2 weeks old fresh.
Absolutely, yeah.
It gets these boxes don't get made and then filled. They're filled as the boxes are made. And I mean, that's a precision timing, because liquid.
Yep.
And the tops are secondary because it's what used sealed.
Right.
What
The
was
package is sealed before the
sealed
cap's actually put
before
on,
the
yes.
cap goes on,
Yep.
so you know that it's fresh for like 18 months. That's my takeaway, but
That's pretty good. That's
because
pretty
I got
good.
kind of memory.
I love that.
But how does all that happen? Like, what is that just one drink? Like, walk us through how one drink becomes
Kind
a
of like
drink.
Santa's workshop. Bunch of elves come in late at night.
Yes.
No, sorry to the guys. I did not mean to call you elves.
I saw. Well, they're pretty tall back there.
It's
Definitely not elves.
some big boys
Yeah.
back there. I got to
Yeah.
be careful what I say. No, we do. If I can walk you through the process, and
Yeah.
I won't give anyone any secrets because there's not very many of them. But the one thing we don't do here, we don't actually distill the alcohol, which is a process of actually making the alcohol, right? But we have it distilled for us, and we bring it in a concentrate. It's probably the best way to say it. It's called distillate, extremely high proof. I mean, it's right up there with rubbing alcohol, high quality, food grade. But it's just pure alcohol. And we bring that in, and then we take that in, and then from that, we make our vodkas, we make our own gin, and we'll buy whiskey distillate, we'll make our own whiskeys, and then the same for rum. And then tequila obviously has to come from Jalisco, Mexico. So we kind of like the champagne and the sparkling wine, right? If you're going to call margaritas, you got to. If you're going to use tequila, you got to say tequila. So we import that. But we are one of the few places where we bring all that in here. We actually manufacture and make all of that here. And the other thing we're really proud of, because people always say, why are you in California? Why do it? It's because majority of all of our fresh produce is literally within a 2-hour drive of us. We use citrus here from the valley. We use vegetables like our Bloody Marys. I'm proud. All the peppers come here locally, right?
Wow,
in fact, the Firebirds Paloma, which I love.
Yep.
Yeah.
These are local grapefruits, local peppers, right? Local limes. It truly is a local drink, and this is really a great natural place. And like I shared with you, there are times where this fruit, from the time it's picked, the time it makes it in boxes, literally is within weeks. And we use, like I said, we make the alcohols here. We blend all the juices fresh. Nothing is, no preservatives, no colors, no stabilizers, no anything like that. It is fresh juice and top shelf spirits. And we blend and package those. And there's a real science, and I credit our team in doing this, because a lot of people think, you make a cocktail, right? Well, you throw all these ingredients in a cocktail, you shake it up, you put it in a package. Nah, not so much. If you've been to a good bar in town, there's a specific order you'll watch as that bartender makes that drink. There's chemical reactions that happen between ethanols and sugars and acids and all the things.
So
that
if you
are
don't
there.
put it in the right order,
Exactly. There's components there.
different, yeah.
And there's an art. There really is an art to it. And So we've really perfected that on a large scale. You know, we make 6,000 gallon batch cocktails. You know,
These vats are massive.
Yeah.
and there's the thing that we do is, even though we're I hate to say mass produced, but even though we manufacture large volumes at a time, it's still really done by hand. We have a big hand. We have a team in our labs that are quality testing all the way through the process. We literally, they taste test, they run it under all the.
We looked in your lab. It was like Jurassic Park.
Oh, it is
when
fun.
they're doing the
It's
dino
fun.
DNA.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
those dudes back there.
And it was cool.
Sciencey.
This is what blew me away, because we have a machine back there. You literally can take some liquid and you put a probe in it. It'll tell you what the sugar level is, what the alcohol content is, what the viscosity. I mean, it tells you all these many things. So it's real cool. The technology is super cool. But at the end of the day, you still have to have that human component, and you still taste it, and we make sure everything goes in it. I mean, a lot of people don't realize, because they think, oh, it's a cocktail in a box, right? We go through an extensive process. All of our stuff, by the way, too, is part of the process to make, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you become premium? How do you become better? All of our products are kosher certified as well, which is just another step of quality performance. And we go through a process where everything is tested and blended and checked, and then through the process of blending the product, and then before it's packaged, it's tested again. There's a lot of hands on this product to make sure that it's done right, and we take a lot of pride in it. And things like the Paloma, things like our Long Islands and our mojitos, if you've had them. I mean, we've won national, international awards for the quality of the package on blind taste tests. People don't think they're made in a box. So, I always encourage people, if you've never had one, try one.
Yeah.
Because you kind of try 5 or 6.
Try a different one.
And then I'll give you
try them all.
But no, there really is. They really are made. We put a high focus on quality. When we started the company, one of the things that I said to our team was, I have to be proud to share these in my home. You have to be proud to share them.
Sure.
Yeah. These can't be something we just make and put out there. If we're going to do this, let's do it right, and be the kind of thing where, even though they're not meant to replace a bar, they could. And I can tell you, I can't tell you how many events we have. We do a lot of family fun parties at our house and friends over, and I swear we put them out, and I usually have a full complement bar too, but people love them. They're great. Then the Firebirds Paloma, I love the fact that's become one of the most popular ones. It's fantastic. Listen, you pour it over ice, you throw a garnish on it, you're done, right? And no one's behind a bar making a drink. No one's wasting that time, right? Because as a host, that's what you always end up getting to do, right?
That's right. Yeah, you're stuck in the kitchen the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's what we're really proud of. We're really proud to make a quality product, and probably the biggest response I get out in the field, and I see it at the arena too all the time, is people go, I had no idea. Like I thought, you whip some chemicals together and you threw them in a box and you put them out there, And it was like,
only knew.
This is really truly a real craft,
you can tell.
composition.
Yeah, you
and
can see the process.
And it's fun. And I think that's probably the most joy that we get is when we bring people in and we do tastings and we're out there and people are like, well, I had no idea, And the biggest thing I like to share with people is, whenever you drink drinks like this, right? Most of them have a lot of sugar in them. They have the preservatives and all those things. Those are the things that give you the headaches. Those are the things that make tomorrow bad.
That's
you know.
correct.
Yeah. And when you're starting off with an all natural product, quality ingredients, you don't get that, and you don't get it as bad. I mean, if you can always overindulge, right? Which you're supposed to be responsible, but you can make that
More air
is a really
quotes.
exactly. But really is a high quality product. And I tell them, they take our hurricane and I go, man, you can taste the pomegranate, you can taste the passion fruit, you can taste the pineapple. You get a Paloma, wow, that's real grapefruit.
And not for nothing, but everybody out here has a pool.
Yes. And they float. They float.
Yes, they do. You know how I know? Because I dropped them. But you can. There's no glass around the pool.
Right.
They're easy, and they just. We have a little outside little fridge. We keep them in, and
here
you go. You want one? Here you go. Here you go. Who wants one?
Exactly.
And I mean, really, you can't. I mean,
it's fun. Well, and you guys can see why we love what we do is we get to make a product that is really part of people's great times. It's their celebrations, the times you spend with friends, and you know the great thing about it is, and people always ask and I go, well, you must be. I'm not really that big of a drinker. That's not really my thing. But the thing that's really great about the product is something you share with friends. It's about the time. It's about the enjoyment. And you know, like I said, you go to a hockey game, Rand. We share the drinks there. It's so great.
We share the experience.
We
right?
share the
It's
experience.
Part of the experience.
Yeah.
And everybody can get what they want, right? If you want a Cosmo or a Long Island or a Bloody Mary or whatever you want, everybody kind of get their own thing, and that's kind of the magic of it that we think. And like I said, we're not really open for tours, but if anybody wants one, give us a holler. We'll come. We'll give you a tour.
Careful what you ask for.
I know.
Careful what you offer.
I was blown away. I really was to see that operation, the technology,
Well,
and I think it was the attention to detail. That to me, when we're walking through and the way you're explaining it and the processes and
it's so clean.
Exactly. That's what it was. It's the quality of the ingredients. It's the precision that you guys are doing this with. You're not just trying to pump out a product and just get it out to the masses. It's like you're really taking care.
Right.
I mean, even down to your packaging. I mean, that was impressive.
Right.
I mean, you no oxygen in your
No, not at
so
all.
you can put it on a shelf, you can put it in the fridge, take it out of the fridge, put it back on the shelf. I mean, I joked with, as you were giving us the tour, I'm like, oh, so it's like a Twinkie.
Yeah.
So it'll just it's going to last forever.
The end of the world and the fun of BUZZBOX.
Yeah, BUZZBOX and a Twinkie and
Planet of the Apes, and they'll pull out a BUZZBOX. I like that. I like
mean,
that.
maybe, but I mean, I think that says a lot about
No pumps.
Oh yeah.
No pumps.
No.
It's,
That thing
nitrogen
we take a lot of care in how we move it, and again, you know, we really treat it, and if you notice this when you walk for a facility, it felt a lot like a winery.
Yes.
There's a lot of winery concepts that we put into play here. Again, no one ever had a facility like this. We were the first ones to really build it, so we really leveraged technology. We built it specifically. It's true that we are the only facility in the country that does what we do in Tetra Pak like this. So it's really kind of fun that we can claim that and we have that here. But that was the thing too, is we want to make sure that, you know, and it's almost like when you're using fresh juices, you're kind of forced to do it right because you can't fake that. And you can have problems. You know, you have big industrial pumps, you shear product, and stuff won't taste right. And so you're really forced to do it right. And our heart's there anyway. So that's what we want to do. But
when you showed us the rolls with the boxes
paper,
on the paper, but my brain can't fathom how many boxes are on one pallet of.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What probably, and I think I shared this with you guys a little earlier, is, you know, people always talk about sustainability, right? And we all have these concepts, and we're all going to go green. You know, the thing that I am the most proud of what we do is, if you're a beverage manufacturer, right? You have to buy your bottles, you have to buy your cans. They got to get shipped to you, right? Well, that's on a truck or that's rail, so you know all the carbon and all the things that are having to get there, right? Our pallets, you know, are a couple 100,000 boxes on a pallet. You know, we save on a single pallet, we save probably close to about 20 truckloads because of the volume. Wow. And so our inbound, like, you know, on one truck. We have inbound paper, and by the way, we print this. We can print anything on this, which is cool. So we can do whether it's
see the
teens
printer,
or whatever. It's cool. But what's so fun is what we bring in these big reels and these rolls, and I think we'll get some pictures and you get a chance to show them to some of your viewers too. But you know, that comes in. We save literally dozens of trucks for every manufacturer that comes in, and then the outbound, it's lighter and it's paper and it's recyclable. But that's what's really fun about it, is that you have that much, you know, you condense that much into one, and it's fun. I'll show you the machines. I mean, it makes 2.5 boxes a second when we're running. So it's
filled.
like, you know,
printed, rolled, filled.
This is you mentioned. Remember the Lucy episode?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
That'd be a little different. You couldn't keep up. But yeah, it actually, and it's really nice because when you look at a bottle of water or a can, you actually have the can. You actually fill the can. The way our system works, the way the Tetra Pak system works, it actually folds the box around the liquid, and that's how we make sure that there's no oxygen.
How fast is that? Like
it's really cool. It's all made at the same time.
Suspending time.
Yeah. It's all made at the same time, and again, that's where we have, you know, no oxygen capability being in there. That's where it's fresh. and the quality and the consistency is what you're able to do.
So what's on the horizon then? I mean, here we are. We're sitting in this amazing facility. You get to come in every day, and I would be super proud as an entrepreneur, business owner.
Thank you.
I mean, you've got a lot to be proud of. You got great staff here. Clearly, you got great people out at the arena. You're surrounding yourself with the right team. All right. So now, what's the next step for you guys? What is the next plans?
Well, we're growing. We're growing by state. I mean, retail was something we really jumped into. The pandemic kind of really forced us to rethink how we do that. And we're finding out that it's a great product for, hiking, backpacking, by the pool. It's a great thing to have. So that side of our business is growing, and we're growing literally across the country and focusing on that. Kind of my first love is live events, right? And so we're really growing more and more into live events.
Awesome.
We've got some fun announcements that are coming up that are really cool.
I love all the teases.
So we're working. I know, and some of it comes out in 24, so I can't. But
Not yet.
We're really proud. We're loving working with Oakview Group guys, and I can say that we're growing with them, which is exciting.
Awesome.
And they've given us opportunities in venues and projects that they're doing, and then we're growing in other sporting venues and other things. And I think as people start to see that the product makes sense where it's at.
Yeah.
So look, we got a big goal. I mean, I want to be in every sports arena, every festival, every concert.
Costco? How about Costco?
Costco would be a fantastic one. We did some testing in Costco, and I love the entire concept of Costco. It's just this has been the first time in the history of our company where we're actually big enough to support a Costco, right? Wow. I mean, we're getting into big chains now. We've got a couple of larger chains where we're hundreds and hundreds of stores we're doing, and we're finally at a point where we could take on someone like a Costco. Where we actually could supply hundreds of stores, and for the first time, so we now have the capacity to do that. And look, I think the biggest goal that we have for ourselves is, the ready to drink category right now is the fastest growing category in the alcohol space. I don't know if how much you guys have heard, but it literally has taken over. Kind of the seltzer world kind of kicked us off, right? Yep. And nothing against seltzers, but I think when people realize, hey, I'm drinking fermented sugarcane, or this is malt, or it's wine based. I want something that's real.
Something for grown-ups.
Yeah, it's eventually you grow up, and although I still sneak a seltzer every once in a while, so I'm not saying that. But what's really great about the product is that you move into where you're drinking real spirits, real juices, they're real cocktails. And one other thing you've noticed with our product, we don't have a blueberry muffin, alcoholic drink. All of our stuff is traditional.
Yeah.
Our focus and our goal was to stay in that traditional vein because there's still so many great cocktails out there, right? And we wanted people to recognize what they were, to say, hey man, I want a margarita and I want to know what a margarita tastes like, right? I want a Paloma, I want a Long Island, I want to be, and we've gone to incredible lengths to make sure that our recipes are true, they're original, they're authentic. In fact, I've had a couple people say, this is different from what I'm used to having, and I'm like, well, because
it's real.
That's the original recipe, That's really it, and that's where we want to be, and we believe we have the quality, we believe the packaging, we got the story, we've got the the sustainability component. We're excited about it. We see a long runway for this.
You got any new varieties you can talk about?
Yeah, we have a couple of things that are coming out. We have some new flavors that are coming out, and I'm really proud. And in fact, I'll break it here on with you guys.
Breaking news.
Here
we go.
We have another Firebird exclusive coming out, and everybody's loved the Paloma.
Yeah.
And we're coming out with a tequila sunrise.
Hello.
Just for our Firebirds. So we're
I'm gonna have to try it.
Sunrise.
It's just
it's
business.
It's really
not
cool.
personal.
No. It's just, we have to know.
Gonna have
Absolutely.
to.
It's research.
Nice.
When
can my palate expect that?
Early or very early in 24. Very early.
Outstanding.
I've learned not to commit with shipping these days.
Right.
But,
No, for sure.
Fair enough.
But no, we're getting out there as quick as we can.
Great.
We have some fantastic new developments we're working on, and I say this word. and like the cream-based alcohol. So you've got your Kahluas, you've got your Baileys, right? We have a new line that we're working with right now to launch this spring that is going to be a non-dairy version of those alcoholic drinks.
So it keeps.
I like that.
So it keeps, but a lot of people have issues with dairy.
I was gonna say that,
and I fortunately I don't, but I've never been a big milk drinker, right? Like it's never really been.
Yeah.
But so we've partnered with one of the largest oat milk manufacturing companies. Absolutely phenomenal product, and we have a couple of just like some oat bourbon products that are coming out that are really exciting. But we're gonna be bringing them into our cocktail version, so that you actually can you imagine having a Spanish coffee or a Mexican coffee or an Irish coffee?
Let's go.
So those are things, and then we've got later this year we have some of the real traditional. So we're working on some releases, some very very traditional cocktails. Your old fashions, your your Sazeracs, your Manhattans, and then we hope to kind of branch off and take on a few more. One of the things we're working on is some fun stuff around the cold tiki lifestyle. So maybe something in the Mai Tai version, as we're looking at. So
You're covering all your bases.
Loving it.
Great.
Well, the cool
Loving
thing is
it.
we have a lot of fun. And hey, we wanted people, first of all, to try it and recognize us for the quality, right? And then we kind of branch out and have some fun. And some are going to be seasonal, and some will be regional, per se. But, it's kind of fun. We still get to sit back and say, hey, what do we want to make?
I like that.
Right?
You get to be creative. You still get to come up with something new and fresh. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
part of what an entrepreneur, a business owner gets into this business going, what can we do next?
Right.
That's we get into that sometimes. What can we do next?
I can't wait to see them on cruise lines.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you
listen,
go.
I'll tell you what, it'd be fantastic.
There you go.
Yep.
It's just the convenience, And like I said, we've never set out to replace a bar. That was never really our intention. But it was everywhere that you had the convenience and the quality, right? That's where we wanted to be. And when you think by the pool, if you're going on an excursion, you're going hiking, you're going wherever you're going, it's just they're fantastic to have in that way. And comes back to the whole reason for wanting to do it was, it's hard to mix something, and put it all together.
I think it's great.
And so
Venues have beer carts, with the ice and the beer and whatever.
absolutely.
Same thing. Why not? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
No, it's really fun, and thanks for coming and looking at it too. It's
I love
been
this.
great.
It's been a blast. So stoked.
So there's, so I think that
Let's do it, man.
You ready?
Let's bring it.
All right, so we typically end the show, and this is a great way, I think, to start ending the show because we've covered everything. So we do a rapid fire segment.
Do you have your questions?
And typically I have my questions at the ready, but today we're going to go off the cuff.
Ooh.
Okay. I think we remember them.
We're going to go off the
Cool.
cuff. So we do this with everybody to end the show. It's a great way for us just wiffle ball questions. So,
Sure.
all right,
Absolutely.
And they're like Rorschach. The first thing that comes to mind.
Come on.
Don't
Yeah.
take my transfer.
What is...
You can't edit this, right? No, it's just
But I'm not going to.
We're not going
Yeah.
to. What is your go-to snack out at the arena?
my go-to snack. Oh my God, the pretzels. For me,
Right.
I love
Awesome.
the pretzels.
Yeah.
I love.
Do
the
you get the
pretzels.
cheese?
I get the cheese.
Heck yeah.
I get double cheese.
I love that.
Don't tell my wife.
And they have that at the BUZZBOX bar, right?
They
we
do.
do. Yeah,
I know you do.
Exactly.
Heck yeah.
Exactly.
Little plug.
And you know who sells them there? You got Jose, you got Rob,
that's
you got
right.
Olivia, you got
That's right.
Linda,
What'd
you
I tell
got
you?
Brittany.
I tell you.
I
you can
love my
catch us
bartenders there.
They're the
Pre-game,
best.
we have the same routine,
Cool.
but you catch us pre-game, BUZZBOX, hanging out at the stand-up tables, and then we go down for the warm-ups. And
Hey, well, I'll come up next time. We'll buy some drinks for you because we'll contribute. So
When did I ever say no
exactly.
to that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, what's one of your go-to spots or foods out here in the Valley?
Oh, well, I love a good steak. So I'm kind of a Morton's fan,
Okay.
but
Good.
that's kind of my guilty pleasure if I
Love
can
it.
sneak away and do that. Love the guys over there; do a great job. But I'm telling you what, nothing against the other steakhouses in town, the LGs and the other. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and a shout out to one of our sponsors too. And I'm not just plugging this, but Spotlight 29 has added a great tavern, kind of a feel place.
Yes.
That's
Taproom
nice and close
29.
to us. So
Taproom.
we sneak out there every once in a
It's a
while.
great spot. Yeah,
But,
I agree.
But
And it's right here.
we have such a great selection. It's hard, right?
For sure.
I mean, it's like
For sure.
literally we could list like 50 restaurants that we like to go hang out.
I know.
You know?
Well, you can throw a rock at any great restaurant.
Oh, it's the
wonderful.
truth. It's
Don't
the
throw
truth.
rocks, though.
No.
No.
Don't throw rocks.
Come game day, what are you listening to get pumped up? Do you have something in your radio that you listen to all the time as you're heading out?
I think, well, gosh, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, no, because usually for game day for me, well, here's the thing that pumps me up is usually I'm in the office until game time, and we usually go down a little early and make sure everything's going on. So for me, it's the excitement that kind of happens around here.
Okay.
And so really, it's not so much the music as it is game days around here because we bought season tickets for a lot of our staff too. So every night we're there. We've got a dozen or so
it's game
of
day
our
for
staff.
all you
It's
guys.
game day for all of us.
Love it.
So game day around here, what I love, and I said, people are wearing their Firebirds t-shirts, they're wearing their hoodies, they're wearing their jerseys.
Yeah.
So for me, when I walk in on a game day, like this Wednesday, we got a game day coming up.
We'll be there.
The guys will be in their shirts. We'll be talking about it. We start talking about it, and I think that's what gets us pumped up, and we get so excited. And then we get to be there before, and you feel the excitement.
The smell.
There's something about that event,
so much
right?
fun.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've said it 100 times, is you could be having a slow day, a hard day, a long day. You'll walk through the doors of the arena.
Everything's
and it's
okay.
electric, and
So
it's
true.
fun, and
So true.
you get a beverage, you get a snack. It's like, wow.
3 hours of just being
It's
a kid.
awesome. You just
gotta be a
forget.
kid.
Yep. You
Yeah,
just forget.
You really do.
You know?
I agree. I love that. What does a treat your day self look like for Rob? Like, what do you do? As a treat yourself?
As a treat for myself?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's really funny. I love tinkering. I'm a car guy. I love skiing and water sports and that kind of stuff. So probably it's funny. I actually had one this weekend, which made me feel really good. I just got to go mess around on my boat, and I'm installing a new stereo, so that was kind of fun. But
Nice.
for me, it's just doing something that takes my mind off of all the other things we have to deal with. Right? My wife she makes fun of me all the time because I'll literally go out and like cut the grass, even though it doesn't need it. I'll just cut it again.
I love
Because
that.
that's your time.
It
That's
just
your
feels good,
headspace.
right?
It's therapeutic. There's something.
Put a headset on.
Yes.
Grab a BUZZBOX.
Little holder on the lawnmower.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it really does. For me, my day offs are, we travel a lot for work. We're involved with a lot of people. Listen, I won't say I have the best job in the world, but maybe the second best job in the world.
Pretty good job.
I get to work with some great people, and we have fun, and we're out, live events, but it's always a lot of people and a lot of stuff. So treat day for me is just to kind of go tinker on something
That's
that
so cool.
just kind of fun.
Inward.
I love that. Yeah.
So
I'm a garage guy too.
yeah, and I'm not a good mechanic, but I think I think I
you don't
pretend
have
to be.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Are you a DC or an MCU guy?
Ooh,
He knew right away. Good. He knew right away. Good.
Yeah.
And it's
I think I'd have to be a DC guy.
all right.
I hate to say it.
All
I hate
right.
to say
Okay.
it.
So who's your favorite superhero?
Oh man, and I've always. It's funny. Even though when I was younger, I was an Iron Man. I was just an Iron Man, kind of fan.
But you're gonna
but you know
say-
why? Well, Spider-Man. Okay, I mean, but I crossed.
we're back- I
crossed
think we're back
boundaries.
tied again.
But
I
I,
think we're
but I crossed
tied.
boundaries. But I will tell you this. I think the reason that I liked Tony Stark and I liked Iron Man is he wasn't born a superhero, right?
right.
And for me, kind of Tony Stark and Batman were also there too, right?
Yep.
Because Tony Stark wasn't a regular guy; he was a rich guy. But do you know what I mean? They weren't
So was
born
Bruce
with
Wayne.
Yeah, and so was Bruce Wayne. That's true. But so what I'm getting here is you got to be rich to be a superhero.
You do.
That helps. But you know what I'm saying? I think for me, and we were younger, the fact that you could see was kind of like a normal person.
Yes.
Someone who didn't have they weren't Superman. They didn't come from another planet, right? They were actually born here, went through some adversity, and were able to find a way to be a superhero. And I think that kind of played through and was my enthusiasm and excitement because I think it plays through in everything we do, guys. Look at the stuff that we do for the Valley, the stuff we do for ourselves, the stuff we do for our families. For it's kind of cool to know that, hey, me as a normal person, I can actually do something to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that as a character.
I'm
And
with you.
Of course, I would love his
100%.
cool stuff and he's
Yeah,
got cool
the tech
cars.
and
So
all
yeah,
this.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
with you. That's why I
come
like
on.
it too. And I think some people would either they gravitate, kind of Batman, Spider-Man
Yeah.
on the DC side. Marvel is.
Yeah.
I love Tony Stark.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than what you're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and or maybe in the entertainment industry, what other profession would you have like to try or done?
Oh man, I grew up in a family of in the building trades, developers and builders on one side, and then we had farmers on the other side.
Cool.
I'll tell you what I think. I don't. Well, I know a lot of successful farmers who say, but I love being outside. I love farming. I love tractors. I love that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's something about being out there in nature. And I will say this. I do think the coolest farming in the world would be to like have a vineyard and make, grapes for wine.
That's
right.
right.
It's kind of a similar concept.
That would
but,
be all right.
I mean, hey, well, we've all been close enough. We get to go visit. I mean, how fun is that to walk around and see that, right?
Yeah.
But I think if I had a choice, it would be something like that. I would love to be outside and be part of that process.
Cool.
And, I've always had this thing. I've said it. This will be how fun to be. Get on your tractor with your cup of coffee and your dog, and head off into your vineyard.
Right in the commercial.
Yeah. Of course, you get there and you have no idea what you're supposed to do. But
Hey,
it looks
matter.
cool,
You'll
right?
figure it out.
You get cool boots and a jacket. It's
right.
fun.
I think
right?
Colin said the same thing. I think afterwards he just wanted to be like a farmer.
Yeah.
He's a country guy, turns
He's a country
out.
guy.
A lot of these guys are great country guys.
Yeah. No, they
Really are.
Do you have a favorite player?
Oh man, I have to say this, and sorry to all the guys, but my daughter got me stuck on Joey, man, and we miss him.
Heck yeah.
We miss him, and I will say this, but my daughter's 18th birthday was this September, and I asked her what she wanted to do for her birthday, and you know what she told me? There was a Kraken game on in Seattle, and Joey was playing.
Yeah. Oh, heck
So
yeah.
we actually flew to Seattle
Good for you.
to go see Joey play. And my daughter reminds everybody that when Joey plays, no one scores goals. So that's her one. That's her one thing. But I loved Joey last year, and I think the thing I liked about Joey was he had such heart.
Correct.
And when you think about it, and we talk hockey just for a second, he came in just one of the guys, and was one of those guys who worked his way up, and he just had heart and he just had commitment to it, and it was fun. And and I think there's so many of our guys that are like that. I mean, hey, we miss Tenny. I mean, obviously he was a great player. I had a chance to talk to him at the golf thing, and was just
great, isn't he?
I told him we missed
One of
him,
the nicest guys.
and but all of our guys and. You don't get to say that very often.
Correct.
I can tell you that probably without exception, almost every one of our guys is excited to be here and wants to be here, and you can see the potential in them.
Yep.
And I love it. But I think more than anything, I like when the guys get out and just give it their all, man.
Yeah, and they do. They all do. I agree.
And that's what I say. I mean, look, hey, this is your opportunity to shine because it's from here to the big leagues, right?
That's right.
So I say, man, don't hold anything back, man. Leave it out there on the ice, make it happen. You know,
they're doing it.
and they're doing it.
You can see the ones that are doing
are.
it.
They really are.
All right, hit him with the big one.
Final question.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna wrap this thing up. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, my favorite curse word.
Yeah.
Boy, the one that I want to say, I can't say.
You can say it. We're not FCC regulated.
You know what I probably, honestly, I say is I probably say darn more than anything, and that's just because I had a mom that would slap me if I said anything else.
Okay.
Got it.
So I think she still slaps me when I say darn, but
I whisper.
yeah, no, it's like
No, all right.
But no, it's the variant of darn probably is
Okay.
and really, and I can tell you where it comes from too. It's kind of funny, even in this industry, is when you're making something and you're experimenting and you think you get it right and you miss something, you're like, damn it, it's like, and it's not that you're trying to really curse anything. It's like, oh, I gotta
you can say it on TV, so it's okay.
We said it before, but there's a place and there's a word for everything.
Absolutely.
And sometimes those words, there's nothing else that's going to fit that moment. So they have a place for everything.
I know you guys have probably seen it. There's this great little thing floating around the internet right now on Instagram. So this little kid who comes up to the door, and they got a Ring doorbell camera, and the kid walks up, and he's like this nice kid, and he opens the door, and the patio door swings back and hits him, and he's like, effing. And he's like, cursing on the door. And it was really funny. He's like a 4-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and just when you thought your kid was an angel,
and or not paying attention.
Exactly.
There they are.
Exactly.
Last but not
sometimes you gotta do
least,
that.
Come on, let's get it from him.
Uh-oh.
Get it from him.
Now that we're done, did you have a good time on the show?
I had a great time. It was good to meet you guys and to see you. And of course,
and
we said hi. We've said hi and run into each other and that kind of stuff. And listen, I'm going to give you guys a thanks. Thanks for doing what you're doing and keeping the thing alive
appreciate
too.
that.
Like,
Thank you.
This is tough for you guys to do. I mean, this is a labor of love, right?
Yes,
for sure.
And you're doing it. And I love what you guys do. I love the energy you guys bring to the arena.
Thank you.
And it feels like we're one great big family out there,
does.
and that's what I just think is absolutely spectacular.
Excellent.
So then would you come back and do this again?
I would love to come back and do this again.
There's a lot to
next
talk
time,
about.
though, let's do some sampling. We'll do some sampling at the same time.
We got someone in the works for that. We'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, that's
So-
a great idea.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
This
It
has been
really is a
fantastic. We do
pleasure.
need to get a
Thank
Go
you.
Birds from you,
Gotta
though,
go
real
Birds.
quick.
Absolutely. All right. Go Birds.
Go
Go
Birds.
Go Firebirds.
That's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, that was fun. If you're enjoying the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast on YouTube, be sure to drop a comment down below and hit that like button. Also, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out when a new episode drops. The Firebirds Fan Zone podcast is available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and a whole bunch of other podcast platforms. So however you get your weekly dose of the Firebirds Fan Zone podcast, we invite you to share it across all your socials. And you can follow us on Instagram at Firebirds Fan Zone Podcast. And on Facebook, just search, guess what? Firebirds Fan Zone Podcast. The Firebirds Fan Zone Podcast is brought to you by Kyle Garman Realtor. Whether you're buying or selling, whether it's for your forever home or that quiet desert vacation getaway, Kyle Garman and the team at Keller Williams have the experience and skill to make that process simple and convenient. Check them out today at kylegarman.kw.com. Our podcast is also brought to you by DesertDefenseLawyers.com. DUI and criminal defense throughout the Coachella Valley. The criminal justice system is scary and confusing, but relief is just a click away at DesertDefenseLawyers.com. We've been keeping folks out of the penalty box since 2008.